Hello and welcome back to another video. I hope you can hear me over the weather because it is madness out there. I can't remember such bad weather for such a sustained amount of time before. The wind and rain is ferocious and the places are destroyed. It's flooded around the place, but I hear it's to improve tomorrow, so hopefully you won't get too much of the noise, but it is fairly wild out there. But today I'm going to do a different kind of video just to start the new year. You'll see I'm not holding the camera, so my hands will probably be flying all over the place because I tend to talk with my hands a lot, so I'll try and keep them in my pockets, but my arm will be tired from holding the camera, so I have it propped up. But yeah, today I just kind of want to do a look back on 2023. And I think anybody who has followed me for any bit of time will know that we definitely had a mixed year last year. But I'm not going to bother recapping on the bad stuff. We know what happened, and I don't think there's any point in revisiting it for the start of 2024. Nothing will change, the few bad bits of luck that we had. So what I want to do in this video is basically look at the things that I've tried this year, or we've tried this year, that we found worked for us. So I'm sure a lot of farmers out there are bigger than what we are and have probably used a lot of those things already, but for the people who might not have used them, I thought this might just be beneficial because, look, I was very fortunate in 2023. Okay, things on the farm were very mixed, but in terms of the social media side of things and how I got on with YouTube, it was a fantastic year and it has allowed me to try new things. Yes, I was gifted some things, other things I used the money that I made from YouTube. It's not a mountain of money, believe me, but it still allowed me to try out a few things that we would never be able to do without YouTube. So I'm in the fortunate position that I can try these things, and maybe there's farmers out there who, you know, don't have that luxury to be able to invest before they know whether they work or not. So I'm just hoping that maybe this video will give people a bit of an insight into some of the things we tried, and then they might be able to tell if it's worth it for them or not. But before I get into that and talking about the social media side of things and the YouTube side of things, I am under no illusions that my YouTube account would not be as successful as it is at the moment without the help of some of the big YouTubers out there. And I didn't mention it in my last video as a wrap up of 2023, so I definitely want to mention it today going into 2024. I know there is no way I would have 17,500 followers or thereabouts right now in less than a year on YouTube if it wasn't for the likes of #1 Farmer P. That man has supported me from the very start. He's given me shout outs numerous times on his channel. He has a massive following, and it was very obvious after his shout outs that my numbers went up. I had Adrian from iFarm, We Farm. Again, these are monster accounts that, you know, giving one shout out to someone like me, you know, really does, you know, push up the numbers and just gives me that opportunity to grow the channel. So thanks again to Adrian from iFarm, We Farm. Farmer Phil, then meeting him at the ploughing and doing the little bit of an interview was great. You know, you see these guys on YouTube for however long and it's just lovely to meet them, and then when they are as sound in real life as they are on the camera, it's great. And then even Glyn down the road from me, the sheep shepherd, he gave me a shout out there a month or so ago as well, and I think the two of us kind of started around the same time, and our channels are kind of the similar size, and so we do stay in contact a nice bit. And if you haven't checked out the sheep shepherd yet, do so, because he's a very funny man and his father is even funnier. But I hope I'm not forgetting anyone, but you know, I know so many people have been, you know, just so supportive of me. Even Charlotte there is always supporting me through TikTok especially, and yeah, I massively appreciate it, and I'm going to stop with all that now, but I know that they have a lot to do with the success of this channel, and I'm under no illusions. I haven't just done this all on my own. So a massive thank you to all those people, and if I have forgotten anybody, I am sorry. But anyway, on to the things that have worked for us this year. This is not going to be a video promoting companies that have worked with me throughout the year, because that's not what I want it to be. This is just a very honest opinion of some of the things I've tried. I'm going to include some of the things that were given to me or I got deals on, absolutely, but I'm not including all of them, because that's not what this video is about. And that's not to say that those things didn't work for me on the farm. I think I don't take everything I'm offered. I know that sounds, I get offered so much, but I think when you are doing YouTube, you do tend to get offered a lot of things, and I don't want my channel to become a massive ad for a load of different businesses. You know, I accept offers of things that I think will help me on the farm and will benefit me on the farm. If there are things that don't, you know, I gratefully decline. And look, I mean, that's an amazing position to be in, you know, to be able to pick and choose gifts and things like that. It's unbelievable, but that's not what this video is about, so don't think that that's where I'm going with this video. This is simply just to show the things that we've tried this year that have worked for us. I'm going to try and break it down into 3 sections. Probably grass, animals, and then equipment, because I think they're the main things, and they're the main things we've tried. First thing anyway is with the animals. So you can probably see behind me there, the middle pen is looking quite empty because the 2 bullocks are gone. Now I have the amount we got for them, which I'm very happy with, but I'm just waiting to get the full report back before I finish off my video on that. So it's kind of over a couple of days, but that'll be the next video anyway. But those animals did better than any animal we've ever had on the farm before, including the 3 that are there. They're not ready to go yet, but they are way ahead of animals of previous years, which we thought were good animals when they were going. And myself and Dad are saying, what have we done differently? We gave them a little bit of meal in September, 1 kg of high energy, just the protein to grow them, more so for the heifer that I have in the pen there, for her to grow, because she was calving. She is going to calve at the 2-year mark, so we just wanted to make sure that she was filled out enough for that. But we put it down to the fact that we got them out in February. We never get animals out that early because of the weather we're having now, and the land just tends to not be great. We were lucky we got a dry February. Last year we got a horrendous March, but we persevered and we left them out because they had shelter where they were. We had to put them out. We did not have enough silage, so it's not that we thought this was a great idea, we'll get them out for the strong grass in February. That wasn't the case, but we're definitely going to try and replicate it with these guys the year. Another thing just to make our lives a bit easier was the tail paint. I was kind of skeptical about it at the start because I thought they'd be scratching their backsides off bushes, and you know, it'd be raining, and would it stay on? But it does, it stays on unless they're bulling, and when they're bulling, the whole lot of it comes off. You'll lose some of it, absolutely you will, throughout the weeks, but when they're bulling, every bit of it is gone. So you know then when you spot something, yeah, she is definitely bulling, we'll bring her up. So for us, it just made life a bit easier. Now, could be complete coincidence, but we had a 100% conception rate in 2023. Probably the biggest success of 2023, I would say, in terms of just the sheer lack of hassle, because the cows are always down below. You have to get someone to stand on the road. I have to put up the ropes. It's always after work, you know. You have to motivate people to come out and help you to move them, and then you're down here until 9:30 at night, not waiting, but I'd be up home but waiting, and then coming down at 9:30 at night for them to be AI'd, and then you're coming down the next morning to let them out before work. So when you have repeats, that sort of work just adds up. So for us to have 100% conception rate was absolutely probably one of the best, if not the best things in 2023 for us. And then of course I have to mention the maths. Now for me, I can't believe we didn't do it sooner. Well, I know why we couldn't do it sooner. We couldn't afford them. They are big money in an operation this size. You could not be doing that every year, and thankfully you don't have to. Those mats should see me right for years and years ahead now. But the peace of mind as well as the cow comfort that those mats give are unbelievable. We've had the bulling heifers here, 2 of them. We have, it was one of the twins doing a lot of jumping. Now it seems to be the smallest calf that went in there with them doing a lot of jumping. I know something would have happened if it wasn't for those mats. Even when the bullocks were going, you know, they were excitable when they heard the strange voice, everyone, and all that leads to slipping. There is no slipping on these mats. I walk into the shed, they're all lying down, you know, it's just not something I've ever seen before. They do give me some serious frights on the cameras sometimes, because especially the ones in the middle, they pan out on it, and of course it scares the life out of me, and I'm watching it, and thankfully they move so I don't have to come down, but it is serious comfort for them. And again, a comfortable animal is just going to be a better animal. It's just how it is. We'll see what the hooves are like when they come out now. Cows will be out March, April, hopefully, all going well. And we'll see have they improved as well on top of it. But honestly, and I know the budget will not allow on every farm, but if it does allow, it's probably the one thing I would get over anything. I would get those mats. And last year, in terms of grass growth, was use the protected urea. So I know I did a video about that, and it was my first time using urea. I think Dad might have dabbled with it a bit in the past, but for us, it really did come down to money, and that was it. Things are tight here, they're still tight here at the end of the year, but we would traditionally have gone for can, and although the price of fertiliser came down massively compared to last year, the urea still worked out cheaper. You're talking about 46 units of nitrogen in the urea versus 27 in can. So obviously you need to be careful with urea. We use the protected. I know Farm Theory, if anybody follows him, he's obsessed with urea, and he always says you're wasting your time with protected. You should just go with the urea. I might talk to Dad about that now again this year and see what he thinks, but he definitely has his strong opinions on urea versus protected as well. But we went with the protected. It's slightly more expensive, but the idea is less of it is lost into the atmosphere, or less of the nitrogen is lost to the atmosphere. So we use the protected. I would not use that on my rough ground. We use it on the ground that had the slurry. So the P's and K's were quite strong anyway, so it didn't really need it. It can be harsh on the ground, but definitely worked really well for us. We got good growth. We used it for the first and second cut, and we got our earliest cut of silage ever. So it definitely did the job for us. We were very happy with it. On that as well, we cut silage at the end of May. Now, that is another thing that could have helped our animals do as well as they have. They were strong coming into the shed, but I don't want to spoil the next video. so I won't say too much. But the test results of the silage haven't come back yet, but it has to be good based on the daily gains that those cattle had before they went. And I won't say any more because it might ruin the next video, but wow. So I think definitely just being disciplined, getting the slurry out on time, getting the fertilizer then out on time, giving it enough time and cutting at the end of May, and just kind of being a little bit brave and just saying, yeah, we're cutting it. There's 3 days of a gap there. We're going for it. It could rain, it mightn't. We got lucky, it didn't rain. It wasn't the driest stuff, although that is some there behind me, and I'm telling you, that is dry. You can see, it just looks good. I hope you can see. It's good stuff, and I would definitely recommend, where you can, cutting as close to the 20th of May as you can, because it just has the better DMD as well as other benefits. So another thing that worked really well for us last year in terms of the grass. So for me, they're the main things on the grass. So the last section I'm talking about is equipment. I won't call it machinery because I don't really have machinery, but I'll call it equipment. And most of it is relating to the tractor and the loader, of course, but then there's also the weighing scales that I got this year. So again, for me, that was a big investment on the farm. I bought that with my YouTube money. After speaking to my brother-in-law, he recommended getting a good one just because we do have heavy cattle, and he said they do tend to, the low bars tend to break on the lighter duty ones. So I kind of went for a good one, and there's no way I would have bought it without YouTube. Maybe I would have bought a cheaper one, but for me that was ideal. You have your own weighing scales, then you can weigh them whenever you want. It's not a case of having to borrow weighing scales to weigh them once a year. We know exactly the daily gains that we have on the animals. We know what weight they were when they came in. And it allows you to see what's working, what's not working, what animal needs greater attention than other animals. And I'm delighted with it. It's a bit of a pain in the backside to move, I'm not going to lie. It annoys me that I need Rob to help me to move it. Ideally, it'd be great if you could just leave it there. But it is great to have, and I think it has definitely improved the way that we have managed our cattle, and especially I suppose it worked out well in a way when we have to finish our own cattle this year. That we just know that we're doing something right anyway when we are, and if we're not, we know we're doing something wrong as well. So the weighing scales was fantastic for us, but again, I know that's a big investment in a farm this size, but I think if you're finishing cattle, it's an important one to have if the budget allows. Then we have the muck spreader that I got early in 2023. It's a mini muck spreader. It was made from an old oil barrel by my friend Jer, which just kind of makes it that much more special as well. You can get ones out there, I think Fleming do one, and there's other ones, but I just love the fact that it's upcycled material and what a difference it made to the ground. It's unbelievable. First of all, less hardship. Yes, I did load it by hand, but the fact that I didn't have to empty it from the box out in the field with the pike was a dream. It really was. Plus the layer that you get, you're never going to get that even layer with a pike. It just won't happen. So honestly, it was great. I did a video showing the grass after the muck was spread, and I can't tell you the difference. It was practically barren land. Oh, the rain is back. It was practically barren land, and there was grass there by September. It was unbelievable. So again, I've had a lot of inquiries. There's a lot of people interested in the mini one especially. I think it's fantastic. I really do. It empties very quickly is the only thing, but apart from that, it's ideal. I'm going to take a break a minute because it's crazy loud in here now. Now I think it's eased up slightly there, so hopefully you can hear me a bit better now, but although has it. Next thing then is the topper. So I actually got the topper at the end of 2022, but I didn't get much use out of it because I got it late in the year. So last year was my first year of doing a good bit of topping. Now the only thing with topping is it takes a lot of time, you know. You're constantly at it really when they're moving, especially in the height of it. But for me, that topper is worth its weight in gold. I got it for a good price off a neighbour back the road, a really nice guy, and still a lot of money in an operation this size. And that was before YouTube. I was going to say I spent my own money on it, but I actually spent Dad's money on it. But I think if I weigh everything up in terms of machinery, it's probably one of the best things we could have got. I have I won't say argument, discussion about spraying and the weed liquor in every topping video I do. I don't love sprays. I've said that before. I just don't love it. If I am to get something, it will be a weed liquor, I hope. I do want to do my spraying license this year if I can fit it in, but I don't think it's too much. And I would perhaps look at getting a weed liquor. But for me, the topper is great. It just kills back those rushes for long enough for the grass to grow between them. It doesn't kill them off forever, unfortunately. They grow back, but it definitely gives the grass the start it needs, and the light is able to penetrate, because oftentimes the rushes just suffocate the grass. It takes all the light out and the grass just can't grow then. Whereas with the topper, it takes away all those rushes, it allows the light in, which then in turn grows the grass. So although it doesn't remove my issue of rushes, which I don't know if I ever will, no, I know I never will, but it definitely helps in terms of getting that extra bit of grass growth. And there is no doubt about it, we saw it in our rotations in 2023. Yes, we used more fertilizer, there's no doubt about that as well, but you could just see the quality of the grass that came back after the topping, and they fed it down a lot better after topping as well. So for me, the topper is great. I'd say a lot of farms have a topper now, but if it's something you're kind of considering, do I need it or do I not, I would say you need a topper. I would say, well, if you've land like mine, you need a topper. I know other people will say finger bar mowers and things are better, but for me, I don't know what they're like, but for me, the topper is fantastic. So the big one is obviously the loader. So that thing has just made my life so much easier these past, how long have I had it now? 4 months maybe. And everybody said it when I got it, you won't do without it. And they're probably right, because I don't know how I would manage without it. There's a few things to consider with the loader. In my opinion, if you have an 80 or 90 horsepower tractor I'm talking about this kind of scale, maybe a little bit bigger. If you have an 80 or 90 horsepower tractor that does all your field work for you, but maybe struggles with the bales, doesn't have a front loader or something like that, and you're thinking, should I get a tractor with a front loader or should I get a loader? I would say you should give serious consideration to a loader. The manoeuvrability that thing has in this shed is unbelievable. When it came here first day, I didn't have the straw here, I didn't have the tipsy bin, I didn't have the pen in use, I didn't have the bales of silage in here, I had nothing in here. And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to use this thing in here, it's just too big. But the way that thing can maneuver is unbelievable. Even cleaning out the pen, and I know that if I get a tractor with a front loader and possibly a 4-wheel drive tractor, there's no way it's going to have the maneuverability that this has. And I'm in a bit of a dilemma because I don't have that 80 or 90 horsepower tractor. I have the 135, and although it does the field work, I can't say it does it comfortably. You know, it does. It's the fertilizer, not a bother. The muck spreading, that rain, is fine. The topping is fine in lighter rushes, but anything anyway heavy, look, it's nothing that dropping a gear or lifting it slightly won't fix, but it's not comfortable. So my big dilemma now at the moment is, do I stick with the 135 and buy the loader? Or do I give up the loader and go look for a tractor with a front loader? I just don't know what the right thing to do is. This loader will do everything for me within the yard and the shed. And if the 135 is doing the job in the fields, why not stick with it? And this shed is too small, really, for a tractor with a loader. So surely the loader would be the right option. It's hard to know. I don't know, and I'm running out of time to make the decision. I need to talk to Dad, see what the right thing to do is, because it's just hard to know. But for me, a loader is a no-brainer if you had the money and you had a slightly bigger tractor than the 135. For me, that's what I would say. Because I'm not selling the 135. The 135 is going nowhere. That tractor has sentimental value over anything else. It's the only tractor that's ever been on this farm. That tractor was bought by my granddad. It was his pride and joy. Never spent a night outdoors, you know. That tractor is going nowhere. And just, you know, even since I've been having to clean out the pen, I think that's where I've really realised just how good having a loader is, just in terms of the manoeuvrability. I think I've said manoeuvrability 10 times, but that is the main advantage with that. And it's just enough to lift the bales and all that for me. So for me, yeah, as I mentioned, that loader has honestly made the world of difference to me over the past few months. So it's been fantastic. And thank you again to Mary and James, because I never thought any company would offer me anything like that, you know. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I know I haven't really given you an answer on the loader because I can't decide myself, but I would say most people probably do have a tractor slightly bigger than the 135. And if you do and you're wondering about a loader, I'd go with a loader. That's what I would do. But I'm not in that situation, so I have more thinking to do. But look, that's this video. I have a feeling I was rambling, as I always do. But I hope I wasn't too much. I hope you could hear me over some of those showers, because it is insane out there. And I hope I didn't bore you, and maybe if people had questions or were thinking about looking at getting something, hopefully that can be of some use to you. It's all only my own opinion, and as I said, every farm is different, every budget is different, every setup is different. So but they're my thoughts on it for the scale I'm doing and what we're doing here. So that's it. That's the recap of 2023, the positive side of things, and you know, hopefully 2024 will be more of the same and just less of the negative. Yeah, we'll try and keep improving all the time, as long as things allow it. So I'll leave that one there. Again, very happy new year to everyone. All the best of luck in 2024. If you've any questions about anything I mentioned there today, drop them in the comments or send me a DM on Instagram, whatever you want. I love talking about all things farming. I don't get to talk about farming too much in my house, so it is always nice to have a few chats about the farms and different things. So thanks again for watching. If you liked it, give me a like, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Thank you.